Welcome back to Square Off. Our political insiders joining us right now. Let's start the conversation. Joining us are Chad Campbell, a former Democratic leader of the House of Representatives, now a political consultant and senior vice president at Strategies 360. And Paul Bence, he's senior vice president at High Ground Consulting and also known as the polling guy. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thanks.
So we start with Governor Doug Ducey's defense of his support for Republican State Senator Wendy Rogers of Flagstaff. Here's the backstory. In 2020, Ducey ran an independent expenditure campaign that spent almost $500,000 to elect Rogers. Rogers has openly embraced white nationalism. This weekend, she's listed as a featured speaker at a conference for an organization led by a white nationalist and Holocaust denier named Nick Fuentes. Congressman Paul Gosar was there last year. Now, late last week, Ducey was asked by the Arizona Mayor's Jeremy Duda whether spending that money on Rogers was a good investment. Here's some of what Ducey said.
The fact that we can pass budgets that put $8.67 billion additional dollars into K-12 education. So that's what I wanted to do, is move my agenda forward. I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish, and she's still better than her opponent, Felicia French.
So what do you think of that kind of wing of the conservative movement that she represents?
Well, I said she's better than Felicia French.
Now, Felicia French was the Democratic candidate Rogers defeated. Chad Campbell, what's the message you take away from the governor's response?
Well, I think he's out of touch with most of Arizonans on this one, and I think with even some people in his own party on this one. The mainstream Republicans that I talk to, they try to stay as far away from Wendy Rogers as possible at this point. She's toxic, for many reasons, white nationalists being the primary one, but other reasons as well. And quite frankly, with all due respect to Governor Ducey, saying that he needed her to pass an education budget is a farce. Felicia French would have supported education funding in her sleep, and she's a veteran. She's a patriot, and I'm kind of shocked by these comments by Governor Ducey, and I have a feeling this is going to haunt him for a while.
Yes, the governor wants a governing majority, and he barely got it in the Senate. One vote. You could argue Wendy Rogers was that one vote. But, Paul Bence, she's promoting election denial and white nationalism nationwide. She's also raised more than $2 million on her own, more than some statewide Republicans. So are Republicans like Governor Doug Ducey maybe afraid of her?
No, I don't think the governor's afraid of her. I think the thing he said there is for his agenda. She is better for his agenda than Felicia French would be. Now, better is a difficult word and probably one that will haunt the governor for a while because Felicia French is a combat veteran and a nurse, and certainly combat veterans are much more popular than white nationalists. But when you have a one-vote majority in both the Senate and the House, the governor needed governing majorities of Republicans to get things done. And it speaks to the tribalism that we've come to know when it comes to current politics. It's, she's a Republican, so she might be my crazy Aunt Wendy, but if I'm a Republican, she's my crazy Aunt Wendy. And so they have to defend them because she's part of the party. And really, there's no effort here to create bipartisan solutions. It's really about having enough on your team to get things done.
But, I wonder if we've just lost all perspective here, because I hear what you're saying about, governing majority, get our agenda passed. But white nationalism is a lot different from, crazy Aunt Wendy, from Sylvia Allen we knew. This is a movement that wants to go mainstream, and whether the governor realizes it or not, it's found a home in his party, and he's choosing not to do anything with it. Chad, shouldn't he say something?
Yeah, I think that this type of action by Governor Ducey or any other Republican elected official or Republican leader is enabling this element of the party to continue to get a foothold within the GOP. We need to stand up against these people. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever you may be, and say enough is enough. To that point about the governing majority, I understand that, but this is a bigger picture. We're talking about a fundamental philosophical belief in America that everybody should be treated equally. And we have a large group of people who don't believe that any longer. And they're trying to change the culture of America to benefit, let's be frank, right? The older white crowd for the most part. So this is a big problem. And yeah, I think Governor Ducey should have drawn a line here. And I hope he reconsiders this and comes out in full force here in the next few weeks.